Hi, I'm Richard from Electric Classic Cars, and I'm a little bit excited today because essentially I've been brought to Llanbedr Airfield, which is nestled between the Snowdonian Mountains and the sea, and I've got a 1.5 mile long airstrip to play with. Now, perfect setting, beautiful skies. All I need now is a bit of a road weapon to be able to make the most of this little playground, and I've got that over there. So what have I brought today? Well, what else would I bring? It's my own little toy, a VW Beetle 1303 with a Tesla motor in. So I think before we get to the fun part of hooning up the airstrip, let's give you a little bit of a tour of this car, probably starting at the back end where the interesting bits happen, which is the Tesla motor. Okay, so let's have a look in the back of this unassuming looking VW Beetle. It's a 1973, so originally it had a 45 horsepower engine in, but no more. Now we've got a 600 horsepower Tesla performance motor. So we've had to do a little bit of strengthening, let's say, to the back end of this to be able to cope with a humongous amount of torque that's just trying to twist the whole back end off. So you'll see some strengthening bars coming down to triangulate the frame here, and you know, the whole motor is absolutely locked in place. Still rubber mounted, so we haven't solid mounted it. So that's a direct drive system. That means that essentially there's no gearbox, got no gears, so that's 600 horsepower through one gear set, which is just going to the big tyres, which are going to be screaming later on, trying to get some grip on the actual tarmac. So that's the business end of it. 600 horsepower performance Tesla motor in the back. Looks nice and neat, and we've got probably the Beetle aficionados out there are probably wondering why there's some grills at the back. Well, this still needs to be cooled down. So you've got a radiator at the back here, which is just cooling down the motor and the inverter that's in here. And by the way, for people that are not familiar with Tesla motors, this isn't two motors. Some people think this is two motors because there's one here and one there. No, that's actually the motor, and this is the inverter. So you've got your three-phase inverter there. It's taking the DC power in from the battery, converting that to AC power in there. So that's your inverter, and that's your motor. And then you've got your single gear set in the middle there, going out to the axles, which are going out to the wheels there. So that's the business end. So that's the bit that's going to make this day a little bit fun. So let's show you the rest of the car. And while I'm at the back here, we'll start touching on some of the other bits and pieces that I've done on this car, which is lightening it up. So we've got a carbon fibre bumper on the rear and the front. And some of the other touches we've done to the car is what I'll take you through next. Other features we've done to this car, well, carrying on with a lightweight theme, we've got obviously Lexan windows, we've got a spoiler on the rear as well. Now, it's only a little spoiler, you can just about make it out here, but that actually makes quite a bit of difference at the top end, because once you're up about 80 miles an hour, which sounds odd to say that with a VW Beetle, but once you get 80, especially over 100 miles an hour, this back end really wants to start to lift. So anything you can do to spoil the airflow over this area here and just stop it from going down like that really helps. So a little spoiler like that actually makes a real difference with the stability above 100 miles an hour. So we've got a little spoiler there, Lexan windows, we've got fiberglass wings on this as well. Now they're about 2 inches wider to be able to fit those massive, huge Porsche Turbo Twist wheels in there. We've got 9-inch on the back. I've got some Yokohama Advans on the rear. So 9-inch wheels on the back. I've got 7-inch on the front. We've also got Lexan windows on the rear for some weight savings. Some little lightweight mirrors as well on this. Now brake-wise, obviously with all this power, who once said, with great power comes great responsibility, and I'm talking about brakes, because this has got Porsche 997 brakes on the front and Golf GTI discs on the back as well, so it stops on a dime. Now add that as well to the regenerative braking effect of the motor, and the brakes on this are as good as the power as well, so it's got to be a nice balance between power and braking. And on the subject of that, the other third element to that triangle is handling. So we've obviously done a little bit of work on the handling of this car as well. We've done things like a big upgraded anti-roll bar on the front. We put an anti-roll bar on the rear. We've got Bilstein shocks all around with eyebash springs, fully adjustable. So this thing should go around corners as well as it goes in a straight line and stops as well. So let's cover the front end off and before I go into the interior and talk about batteries. Now around the front, what have we got going on? Well, first of all, we got fiberglass wings, nice and lightweight again. We've got LED headlights, which make a real difference compared to the old candles in the wind that we used to have on this Beetle. Carbon fibre bumpers, and I don't know if you can quite see them, but we've also got an air dam underneath here. Now that actually makes a lot of difference again up at the higher speeds for the stability of the car. Stops the air, or kind of like gets the air to flow in the right directions around this car, and you'll probably notice it's a little bit lower than a normal Beetle as well. But with the air dam at the front and that little spoiler at the back, the speeds stability above 100 miles an hour is just night and day, so that really helps with that. And I think the other thing to look at in the front is probably batteries, because without batteries, that motor at the back isn't going to be travelling a single metre down this runway. So let's cover off what have we got regarding batteries. Well, in the front, we've got half the battery pack. So we've got 6 LG Chem batteries underneath here. That's about 15 kilowatt hours. And I've got another similar size pack behind the back seats internally. Weight distribution wise, I mean, overall weight of this car is about 1,100 kilos, which is a little bit heavier than the standard Beetle, but there's a little bit more weight up front, and it's nice and low down as well, because you've seen where the motor sits at the rear. It's literally about as low as you can get, and this is also very low, sitting directly on the bottom of the floor pan, in between the axle at the front here as well. So stability wise, going around corners, it handles like it's on rails. So again, we got total of a 30 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's what's called a 6S2P. So essentially we've got 6 batteries in series in here, 6 batteries in series in the rear, and those 2 packs are put in parallel then, which then go to the motor. Obviously we've got a 7 kilowatt charger in here, a DC converter, and we've still got a little bit of boot space as well. Not a huge amount, but it's a little bit of a weekend warrior, this car, so we're not exactly going to be doing weekend camps with the family in this one. So I think the only thing left to do now is show you a little bit of the interior, and then we'll go out and have some fun. Now, interior wise, I've got to say this is probably one of the most comfortable interiors that I've ever sat in, whether or not it's a new car or an old car. We've done a full-on custom job of the interior. There's Alcantara and leather everywhere, and accentuated with some aluminium everywhere with the buttons. So we've got some brushed aluminium buttons here for things like the lights and the windscreen washers. We've also got forward and reverse. So, you know, talking about how do we drive it, it's as simple as turn the key on, forward and reverse. There's no gear shifter, there's no clutch pedal obviously, and it's just a go pedal and a stop pedal. Really simple. I've got a touchscreen display nestled down here between the seats, and that tells me things like how much is left in the battery pack, what the volts and amps are looking like. I can even go and have a look at individual battery cells if I wanted to, because each one of those 6 modules in the front is made up of 16 individual cells in series. So 16 times 6 times 2 again, because there's another lot in the back. I can go and have a look at those individual cells to see are they all healthy. So what else have we got in here? It's quite a practical interior as well, because obviously we've got back seat in the back and the front seats can fold forwards. These are made of carbon fibre, so they're really nice and lightweight as well. But the main thing that's important about these front seats is they just hold you in perfectly. And without going full race spec with a roll cage and harnesses, this is about as race-inspired interior as I ever want to get, because once you start going that route, it starts to get a little bit impractical. And this, I wanted to be a little bit of a weekend warrior car with practicality to go to the beach if I want to do with the kids, and that's how it's ended up. But today, it's blue skies. I've got a 1.5 mile runway just behind me, and I think we just need to get a mate of mine to do a good comparison against, just so you can see how quick this car is off the line. So it's time to have some fun. Right, here we go. We've got Tim here in his Lotus Elise Mark II, whatever that is. I don't know, whatever it is, it's going to lose. But I got a 1/4 mile in front of me, and just waiting for John to start us off here. So make sure it's in forward, not reversed. That's the only thing I need to be concentrating on. And then let's concentrate on the horizon. So Right, we're ready. Oh, Jesus. Squats down. Straight so far. That's 100. Keep sliding it up. Now. Jesus. That is quick. I can just about see Tim in my mirrors. Way back. It's a little dot. I've built a monster. Mental. This is mental. Man, as soon as I took off, I just concentrated for a little bit, looked at the speedo, and I was already doing 100. Jeez. Temperatures, everything fine. Not even woken up yet. Man, that just was straight as a die. As soon as I put my foot down, I hunkered down, squatted, just floored it. Straight, no drama, but the acceleration was, you just got thrown back in your seat and you had to concentrate. Man, that was over quick. Oh my God, that was nuts. I've never driven anything as mental as that. That was rapid. I mean, I just put my foot down, it squatted, hunkered down beautifully, just set off, it was straight as a die. I looked at the speedo, it was already 100 miles an hour. I looked up, finish line, that was about it. What time do you call this?
What can I say?
Been to the shops or what?
I think you must have jumped the start.
Really, you reckon? I was mental, I tell you what, I was hanging on for dear life for that, but it was brilliant.
Best out of 3.
No. Oh, that was mental. I think I've built an absolute monster here with this thing. I've got about another hour or so of this place to play with, so I hope you liked that video as much as I liked it. I was scared to death for that run, but I loved it. But I think we'll leave it there. Any comments below, I'll try and answer them as much as I can, but I've got an hour left here. So see you guys later, because I'm off for a bit of hooning.